Hello, Dota2 fans! This is Chicago Ted bringing to you another Reddit Dota2 League game today. It takes place in between Well-Warded and Propane, two teams in the same group and both doing fairly well in their group stage. This is the first seed versus the fourth seed, and all these teams are right now fighting for their place in the grand final tournament. That's 16 of the top teams going for a single elimination tournament at the end of week 8. And that is going to be a game or a tournament to catch. But for now, we're going to go into the drafting phase of this game right here. And this is game 1 of the series. And we see Batrider is going to take the love for the first game, the first ban out of the day. Now, this is a mid-hero that does very well in almost all circumstances and can really fight the 5-man very well, as he's able to pick off one hero, bring him right back into the enemy team, and then just like the team can rip him apart essentially. That hero can't do anything when he's in the lasso. So a very strong hero in his own respect, but with the OT being banned out, we're taking out some of the more overpowered mid-heroes, as they're called. Outer World Devour pretty much shuts down any real conventional mid-hero in the early to mid-game, and then can carry pretty hard in the late game. So many teams opt for him to be the first or second ban material alongside the Batrider, alongside heroes like Nyx or Lifestealer, and sometimes even we've seen Alchemist becoming a first or second ban out in the recent games. But for now, we'll just wait and see what these teams have, and these teams don't want to fight for this game, and they're going to choose Nature's Prophet to take out of the pool, which is a very nice split-pushing hero, got a lot of global potential and a lot of presence in the game. From minute 1, he can be anywhere he wants to. Well, after he levels up teleportation, that is, which is one of the best skills in the game, in my opinion. But he can really be anywhere. He can force the ganks, force the fights, and just get as much gold as possible. And to quote a lot of people, actually, his hala hala get dala mentality is probably one of the biggest in the games. Rushes the Hand of Midas and just rakes in the cash. And with a ranged hero, there's a lot you can do with that cash. You can go for a Desolator that can reduce armor. You can go for extra damage, crits, or even utility like a Sheepstick. But with him out of the pool, that leaves one less option for both of these teams to have. But Darkseer is going to be the next ban out. A great teamfight hero, can force all the heroes in a certain area into a singularity, which sets up any real AoE stun or AoE ability. Pairs really well with heroes like Jakiro that really focus on those small areas where heroes are
10 seconds remaining.
But and also, I've actually found that it synergizes incredibly well with heroes like Elder Titan and Shadow Fiend. But he's out of the pool right now and well-warded. Opt for the Lifestealer first. Pick a hero that scales in the late game, scaling on the enemy hero's max HP. That's right, his passive ability, Feast, gets stronger and stronger as the enemy's health pool increases. And Alchemist is his natural natural feasting dinner, so to speak, where Alchemist is a high HP, low armor hero. So Lifestealer really rips right through that. But Propane are telling Well-Warded, we don't care. We're picking up the Alchemist. We want that farm potential from this one hero to just rake in the cash, sort of similar to how Nature's Prophet does, except he has a steroid ability called Greevil's Gold, which gives him bonus gold for every last hit he picks up, which translates to a lot of gold as the game goes on. So Shadow Fiend is going to be the person to pair with that. So we see the makings of the defensive tri-lane coming out from Propane. You got the Shadow, actually could be offensive really. Shadow Demon, very good in both respects, but the Shadow Demon with the disruption takes one hero out of the mix for a short amount of time, setting up whatever follow-up stuns you want. And usually there are heroes like Lina to follow that up, or Nyx Assassin to follow it up. I've even seen Mirana, which is a very powerful one. You send that 5-second stun, or you send that arrow out and hit it for the max range. As soon as he comes out of the disruption, the arrow hits, and that's a very, very long stun. But with Alchemist, you already have the carry in that lane, and I don't think Mirana was synergized very well. We'll hold on to that thought. Naga Siren was a pickup to pair with the Lifestealer, a great support, synergizing incredibly well with the Lifestealer, holds a unit in place for a very long time with that net, Riptide reducing their overall armor, and the Song of the Siren just stopping the fun for a short amount of time, allowing Lifestealer to get in the perfect position to drop that really big Infest AoE damage. But
Reserve time.
we're going on to the second banning phase, and we see Rubik being taken out by Propane. So I always talk about the big three in these games, and that's Rubik, Shadow Demon, and Bane. And these three heroes excel at taking a hero out of the fray for a short amount of time and just have a really good disruption ability to set up other stuns. So you usually, when you play, you want to pick up one and ban the other two, but they're opting to leave the Bane in for a short amount of time. I think it's because they believe that with the Naga Siren, you don't really need that disruption. And Naga Siren is quickly becoming a very, very strong support in the metagame with that with the net going through the BKB. But again, we'll hold on to that thought. Visage is going to be the fourth ban out, as well as Clockwork on the side of Well Warded, and then we're going to be picking up a Weaver for Propane. So right now, we're seeing from Propane, we have the Alchemist, the hard carry, the person who's going to be getting the farm, getting the last hits, and getting those early items. The Shadow Demon is going to be his tri-lane support. Weaver is going to be picking up the off lane, could even pick up the mid if he really wanted to, but that is not a very common place to put him, and really not the strongest place to put him. Weaver really excels in that off lane position, because usually teams don't really focus on that, and even if they do, he's got the invisibility, he's got the Scoochie to get away, but just like that, Well Warded pick up the Bounty Hunter, so they're going to be able to see that invisibility with the track. Although Weaver can time-lapse it out, time-lapsing just to get rid of a track is not the best option, so Weaver has to be a little bit careful when fighting that Bounty Hunter. Dazzle, though, not a pick we see all too often coming out in these games, but certainly a strong pick in his own respect. He's a very good TP canceller, he's a very good channel canceller, although with the Naga Siren, you're not canceling that channel, but... And he's also got great armor, so Alchemist really thrives on stacking up his armor because he's got none, or close to none. So you pair in the Dazzle with the Alchemist and you're boosting his armor, as well as giving him a Shallow Grave, which almost shuts down a Lifestealer if you get down to low HP. But of course, once that Shallow Grave ends, I mean, you're dead. But it doesn't really matter now. That Puck is going to be the fourth pickup for Well Warded as we go on to the final banning stage. Puck is a very strong mid hero. We usually don't see these mid heroes until the final pick out, but Well Warded want to secure their mid. They want to make sure they have that really big playmaking mid, and a Puck is incredibly dangerous when paired with a hero like a Lifestealer, as that initiation potential from the Naga Siren song, you get a few tracks off with the Bounty Hunter, and that's very powerful in its own respect. If you think about it, when the Naga Siren is off, you just stack up the tracks. You could probably get 2 tracks out while the duration is going, and then boom, you've got the Puck jumping in with the Lifestealer, Waning Rift, and Fest damage AoE, and well, you've got a team who's already at half health entering into this fight, while the Naga Siren's at full, spawning illusions and riptiding you to shreds. I mean, Dazzle's can probably heal you right back up, but he might even be dead as soon as the song ends, so... Lina is going to be the final ban out. They realize that the Well Warded do need a final tri-lane hero, and Lina is a very good hero to pair with the Naga Siren. We're going to see the Magnus coming up, and we'll go touch on that in a couple of seconds. TA was going to be the ban, or is the ban for Well Warded, a hero that fights very well versus the Puck. In fact, that's a matchup that we usually like to just watch in the mid lane, the Puck versus a TA, because it takes so much skill to zone out either one of these two heroes, and with a refraction shield, TA does very well in most mid situations, but Puck, with the phase shift, does very well in his own respect, or her own respect, or whatever Puck is. So it's a very decent matchup to watch. It's very hard to harass either of these two heroes. So back to the Magnus pickup. This is a huge mid-tempo controller. Very difficult to fight a Magnus versus a Puck, but a skill Magnus can really shut down almost any hero save the Outer World Devourer, hence the first ban. But Magnus has great abilities, can disrupt as much as he wants to. The Skewer, a really good ability versus most mid heroes. You skewer them right under tower and they're usually going to die right away. But with Shockwave, a great damage burst, And power helps any melee carry do cleave damage. It helps any real range carry do bonus damage. So you pair the Alchemist and the Weaver with a Magnus, and you've got a lot of deeps coming out. But we're going to see the Warlock is going to be picked up. This Naga Siren initiation is becoming absolutely devastatingly scary on the side of Well Warded. So they're going complete wombo combo here, whereas Propane are going for that team fight prowess as well. So we're just going to have to wait and see which one comes out on top. We see the pings coming out on bottom. Let's go ahead and introduce the teams for the Propane. We have Fiend picking up the Alchemist, Hank Hill on the Shadow Demon, Birkin Dog playing the Magnus, Saf on the Weaver, and Jonah on the Dazzle. And they're going to head 5-man down the bottom lane. We have Rainmaker, the stand-in, playing Lifestealer. Wardmancer is going to be playing up for Well Warded on the Naga Siren. Bravebird picking up the Warlock. Smarter, the stand-in, playing Puck, and Wax playing the Bounty Hunter. So 5-man mid, they've all smoked up, and they're planning on getting some aggression out as soon as the game starts. And even earlier, they know there's going to be a defensive trial on this bottom lane. Can they hold on to their smoke and try to catch Well Warded off guard? It looks like they're going to go for it. They have the Shadow Demon, which is the Disruption, comes out right away. They've got the Dazzle with the Poison Touch. This Naga Siren can't get away. The stun hitting on 2. Could this be 2 kills? We have the Shadow Word keeping the Naga Siren up, but the Warlock is going to take the fall. First blood for for Fiend, taking it up on Bravebird. So the Alchemist getting that extra little steroid boost in gold, and the Warlock is going to be a little bit behind. Naga Siren, though, didn't take the fall, and that's a very big thing to note. The Warlock gave up his life to keep the Naga Siren alive, and honestly, I think that's a pretty big thing in this game. But all in all, it doesn't really matter because they don't really lose a lot of gold. They don't really do anything but give a lot of gold. But the key thing about that was that the Naga Siren stayed alive. The Warlock was the only one to take a fall. That could have easily been a 2-0 if the Warlock hadn't leveled up that Shadow Word and hadn't gotten the Naga Siren with the heal. So, well played, minimizing damage, but and all said and done, this sets the offensive tri-lane up way ahead, and now they're going to have a free ticket, just be as aggressive as they want in this game. Creeps going to their tower, meaning the Lifestealer is going to get slightly less last hits, and it looks like Naga going ahead and de-warding under the aggression of Propane. So a little bit of ballsy play coming out from this Naga Siren, but she's taken the wrong path around town. She had found herself in the wrong neighborhood, and she's going to get blocked up, but she's going to get away. The stun going to come out. Is it going to hit? She's blocking it up. Will they find it? They do. Wardmancer in a lot of trouble. Will there be a Shadow Word? She's staying alive, taking a lot of damage, and he's actually going to get away. Naga Siren finding herself in a very bad position, way out in front of the enemy, and is able to get away. The block up didn't exactly work. They tried to block her. They tried to keep her from moving out of that position, keep her locked up in this little position, but they didn't quite get a full wall out, and she was able to escape and just take the long route home. Just like that in the mid lane, it looks like Magnus doing fairly well versus this Puck, having to use his salve up. The Puck starting with a couple of tangos. Both of them look like they're trying to rush a bottle. Magnus is a little farther behind, though, does end up picking up a Stout Shield, and it looks like Magnus, he's going to go in and get a few auto attacks off. 5 seconds, and this Shockwave could indeed pick up the first mid-kill, and the phase shift out, perfect timing, and the Puck is able to get away. Weaver, generally this lane favors the Bounty Hunter just a little bit as he starts getting his abilities up. He's able to get a lot of burst damage out on that single hit, whereas the Weaver isn't able to really get too much follow-up if he the Bounty Hunter invises right away. He doesn't get hit up by the Sakuchi. So the Bounty Hunter typically does very well once he starts getting a few levels out, and level 2 on that Shuriken toss is going to mean a lot of damage. That's 200 damage, scaling from 100, and it looks like Lifestealer may have a little bit of trouble in the next couple of seconds as Hank Hill coming from around the bend. We're going to see Disruption. Who's he going to go on? They're going to go on the Warlock, the only person they really can kill in this tri-lane. And there it goes, the stun coming out, the Warlock dying almost immediately. Like, there was nothing I could have even said during that time. The Warlock going instantly from full health to nothing. And that's just the power of leveling up that unstable concoction. He isn't going for Greevil's Greed just yet because he doesn't need to. They know they're going to pick up the kills, and this defensive tri-lane is going to have a long way to go before they can start coming back. Lifestealer, though, one of the bigger heroes that you can come back on, and he's sitting 3-2 right now, which is not amazing, but against an offensive tri-lane, you kind of assume that this team isn't going to be doing too well. There are wards there. The blocking wards have been dewarded though, so they are going to be able to get the pulls off, but Propane are going to contest these wards, and here comes the disruption out. It looks like going to be a full stun charge down. Wardmancer is going to take a fall here. The Shadow Ward keeping him alive for a little bit, but it isn't enough. The final attack from Shadow Fiend. It looks like Rainmaker is trying to make a play here, but with the Shallow Grave keeping the Dazzle alive, it looks like the Lifestealer is going to take a fall, and Propane going 4 up in this series right now is Bravebird is the only one to stay alive in this tri-lane. It's kind of a turn of events here, as he is usually the first one to die. But he is going to stay alive, and he's going to be live and kicking. The one thing that well-warded have going for them is this insane ability to really control team fights with their Naga Siren ult, with the infest damage. The Puck isn't doing too bad, in fact, beating the Magnus in the mid lane, but typically a ranged hero does beat a melee hero any real day of the week in the mid lane position. But it's going to be the Magnus to find the 4-minute rune, and it's going to be an invisibility rune, which is going to spell trouble. Big trouble for Well Warded if they get caught out by it, but it looks like Magnus is going to indeed go back to the mid lane. And that's going to mean a little bit less trouble for Well Warded, as they don't have to worry about that Magnus initiation on their bottom lane tri-lane. Kind of a sigh of relief for them. Mid lane, it looks like Magnus trying to get one hit out on the Puck, but the phase shift was off cooldown, and they were able to take the, or she was able to dodge that little bit of burst damage and stay alive and kicking for another day. She is sitting at very low health, though. Very low health, and that's going to mean that she's going to need to Bottle Crow, because she's not picking up the wards. In fact, Magnus is sitting out ahead. If he is able to get this shockwave off without the Puck realizing it, without the reaction time coming out, this Puck could indeed die right here, right now. Just like that, looks like Rainmaker is going to try to get up a little bit of XP, but Shadow Demon is right on the case. And Puck, knowing that Magnus is just waiting around the corner, is backing off, but it looks like if he can get just within range, that 225 damage should be enough to pick up the kill. Oh man, he's going to get right up next to the Magnus, trying to get auto attack. He's just waiting for that perfect time, but that invisibility rune is going to wear out right now. If he had used the RP, bait out the phase shift, and then just follow up with the shockwave, that would have been a dead Puck, but he opts not to do that, and that's going to mean that the Puck is going to live to fight another day. Regeneration rune spawning in the top, and it looks like Puck is going to be the one to pick it up, sending out an orb. There is an RP. Can he use it? No. He ends up skewering on back. He's wasting a little bit of mana, wasting a little bit of time. There is a regeneration rune, so every bit of mana he uses is just wasted, as the Puck can just get away, pop the regen rune, and there's going to be nothing more said and done. Lifestealer just trying to find the last hits, but right now he's 5-4. He was 3-2 2 or 3 minutes ago, so not finding really anything. The Naga Siren is getting more last hits than him, and that's the same tri-lane, so we see a little bit of a puppy pause coming out from Wardmancer, as Rainmaker, it looks like, is in need of a little bit of time. This tri-lane quickly falling apart at the seams, as Fiend really finding his niche in last hits. Right now we see, take a look at the net worth, this Alchemist, despite not having Greevil's Greed, is sitting at 2,900. More than tripling that of his enemy carry, the Lifestealer. And that is a big factor that we need to take into account as this game goes on. This Lifestealer is sitting way far behind, has already died once, and right now is sitting on 3 tangos, a salve, and a stout shield, and 500 gold to boot. Or 4 boots, I guess you could say, but he's not doing too well right now, and they really gotta be careful of that. If there's anything that this tri-lane needs, it's level 6 on this Warlock. You drop a Fatal Bond down, drop the Rock, and this team is gonna melt. It's gonna fall apart at the seams, and This Warlock does very well when enemy teams are scrunched up together. So what I think Well-Warded need to do is they need to start stacking camps a lot. And really start trying to clear the camps on their own, just as supports. Put 1 point up in mirror image for the Naga Siren and just go to town on the neutral camps. Try to scrape together as much XP as possible, because you're fighting a tri-lane whose carry is level 5. He's going to have level 6 up soon. And that's going to mean he's pretty much out-farming your tri-lane in every way, shape, or form. This Alchemist single-handedly has more XP than almost the entirety of the enemy tri-lane. I mean, that's a huge thing to think about when you're talking about these games. I mean, you cannot let the Alchemist get a lot of farm, and there are 2 ways an Alchemist can get farm. He gets a lot of kills, which he's 2-0-2 right now. He's been a part of every single kill in this game, sitting on 1,000 gold and power treads, as well as a magic stick. So he can get farmed that way. Or you put a couple of points up in Greevil's Greed and you put him in the safe lane and give him free farm in the safe lane. He can achieve farm just as fast. So this Alchemist is just not going to be doing all that well in this, or what am I talking about? This Lifestealer is not going to be doing all that well, but we have to remember though, Lifestealer does scale as the enemy's health goes up. And when we take a look at Alchemist's armor, he's only got 2 armor and he's got a fairly high HP pool. And as soon as he pops his Chemical Rage, he gets 250 bonus health, which is going to mean he's going to have over 1,100 health. And the Lifestealer, if he opts to go for a couple of points in Feast, that 4%, 5%, 6% leech is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and start doing more and more damage. And soon, you've got a Lifestealer that's chunking down your Alchemist for about 10 to 15% of his health each hit. And when you've got an Alchemist with an HP pool that is absolutely astronomical, then it starts getting really crazy. So unless Alchemist opts for that level 1, or sorry, what am I talking about? That first item, Assault Cuirass, and the Dazzle is on point with every single Shadow Weave, I believe it is. Sorry, just Weave. Then that Alchemist is going to be able to start resisting damage. But until that happens, Lifestealer will be able to chunk away health, and that's going to be huge as the game progresses. But again, we need to remember that this Alchemist is getting a ton of farm. I mean, even the Shadow Demon has his brown boots, is picking up Sentry Wards, 2-0-2 as well. Being a part of every single... Wow. So, the Alchemist and the Shadow Demon are actually equal in their points right now. Shadow Demon 2-0-2, Alchemist 2-0-2, and that just goes to show you which heroes really do well in the tri-lane. I mean, Dazzle isn't going to be picking up the last hits all that often, but these 2 heroes are really strong. You need to be careful of their auto-attack damage in the early game. And right now, it's really taking its toll. That Unstable Concoction is level 3 right now, which means it's doing 290 damage at max. And we take a look at the enemy's health, and 290 damage is about 50%. 50% of the Warlock's total damage. Ignore the minimap. Ignore the minimap. Oh man. We can't. They can't see what we're writing, but we can see what they are. So they're having a little bit of fun. So anyway, we'll just ignore that for now. So I was thinking something. Oh yeah. Well, okay. Let's take a look at the Naga Siren. That's an even better example. 587 damage. What's half of 587? 294, 293. Alright? We take a look at how much this Alchemist is doing with Unstable Concoction now. I don't think it is physical damage, so it does get blocked by armor. But, I mean, when you account for 6 armor. Okay, never mind, but Shadow Fiend, his Unstable Concoction, if it were pure damage, does 50% of Naga Siren's total health. And we think about that for a little bit. That is a lot of damage. So, this tri-lane, we see just where their weaknesses are, and it's the Unstable Concoction doing a lot of damage. This the Acid Spray, reducing almost all of the armor. In fact, a full level in Acid Spray as well will take Naga Siren down to 0 armor, which is going to mean that it is going to do 50% of her total HP with the Unstable Concoction. And that scales up to 360 with level 4. So, all in all, a lot of damage. We take a look at this tri-lane, and I think I've been going over a lot of the same things over and over again, but come on, it's a pause. So we take a look at this tri-lane, and let's look at it right now. We have an Alchemist with an Unstable Concoction, max damage at 290. Alright, 175 radius. If you're sitting next to it, you're going to take that as well. We have the Dazzle with the Shadow Weave that does 100 damage. I believe that's over time. No. That's the one that heals up your allies and does damage to enemies. So, doing a lot of damage if you're surrounding your targets. Then you've got Soul Catcher, boosting the effect of the amount of damage being taken. And you got the Illusions. So, the Illusions, plus the Concoction, plus the Acid Spray, plus the Shadow Wave is going to do a lot of damage. We see the Disruption, though, coming out on a creep, it looks like. No. Disruption going out on the Alchemist himself. We see the Puck coming down into this fight. He drops an orb out. Fiend is sitting really low, but still doing a lot of damage with that Shallow Grave. He does end up taking a fall, as well as the Shadow Demon. And they're going to pick up 3, but the Acid Spray finishing off the Naga Siren. And Bounty Hunter coming in to finish off the Dazzle. So that's a 3 for 2. 2 heroes rotating in to make that happen. And it looks like the Puck got rather low, the Warlock himself getting low, but picking up a few levels, which is going to be huge in this fight. And now Magnus with the RP is coming in. We have the Puck with the phase shift. He's going to pick it up. The phase shift, brilliantly timed. That's smarter. The Disruption blocking out the stun, but it wasn't aimed for him anyway. Wax going to take a fall. Puck is going to get herself out of there. It looks like phase shift. Don't even know where she is. Yep, she's back here. The Shadow Poison, trying to find him out, but not going to do it. Hand kill now. Going to take a little bit of aggression. The orb flying out. Is it going to hit? It is going to hit. 210 damage. Hand kill is sitting at 180 right now. All that needs to happen is the one more attack from the Life Stealer, but he's not going to find it. In the meantime, Alchemist found his ult, and it came to play in that last fight where he was able to do that much extra damage while he was Shallow Graved. But the Shallow Grave eventually has to wear off, and they did pick up the kill on him. 3 and 7 right now at 8 minutes, and they had to rotate 2 heroes down to make that happen. So all that XP was split up. This Life Stealer hasn't found level 6 just yet. In fact, he was one of the first ones to fall in that engagement. We see, wow, Bounty Hunter diving way behind the tier 1 towers to find a kill. First one I've missed in the game, and probably the only one I'll miss, but... And that goes back to what I was saying 6 minutes ago, is that Bounty Hunter really excels in this lane. Puck, with her invisibility rune of her own, it looks like Naga Siren is going to find out the Magnus, but the Puck is sitting in a bad position. The orb is going to come out, and the orb is going to be off target. Now Wardmancer on the Naga Siren is going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage. It looks like Wax coming in. We see the damage from the Shuriken Toss doing a great amount, chunking him away, but he's going to back off, going to bottle up, and now the Puck taking a little bit of damage from the Weaver, who needs to rotate in. We see the Shuriken coming out, it looks like, but not doing anything. No, the Shuriken didn't come out. That was a track. And Saf going to go ahead and phase shift out. That's what we were talking about. The phase shift blocking out the track. And now Rainmaker getting an auto attack off, but doesn't have a point up in Feast, so we don't see just a sheer amount of damage. Now he's alone versus 3. If they go on him, it looks like Hand Kill is a little bit AFK right now. He probably could have dropped the Disruption off, and that would have been a dead Life Stealer, but instead, it's not going to happen. We take a look at the last hits, and Puck climbing his way through the ranks, and Bounty Hunter getting where he needs to be just out of track kills alone, which I didn't know in that bottom fight, but we take a look, that Bounty Hunter had level 6, so a couple of those kills, even though there were only 3 of them, they were track kills, or at least some of them were. So that's a little bit of extra gold going that way. So the pause coming out, and it looks like this is a Shadow Demon needing to take a little bit of a hiatus from this game. We noticed how he was a little bit AFK right there, wasn't able to drop the Disruption out on the Life Stealer, who was clearly out of position. So a little bit of a break for this Life Stealer. I'm not sure if he knew it though. He's got to be a little careful. Rainmaker, that name comes to mind. There is a caster named Rainmaker, actually. Well respected, that guy. He was pretty good. Not sure it's the same guy, probably isn't, but still. Shout out to Rainmaker if you're watching. You're one of the guys that inspired me to continue casting. Rainmaker and IEC. Toby, I love you, but I don't think you were my inspiration. Still very entertaining to watch, though. Anyway, back in this bottom lane, we see just what we'd expect to see. Lifestealer hanging back, knows that the Shadow Demon is right back in the game, so he's got to be uber careful. And the Ward, spotting out the Magnus. We've got 4 heroes in the bottom lane. Let me just point something out. When the Magnus wants a kill, the Magnus is going to get a kill. He will dive you under the tower to find that RP, and you're just going to have to deal with it. But it looks like Well Warded are going to deal with it. They're rotating the puck in. The Naga Siren being found out. Does she have Song? She does not have Song, but it looks like Dream Coil coming out, and Magnus is in the fray. He is caught by the Dream Coil. Was going to launch the RP, but the Waning Rift keeping it out, but he finds 3 anyway, and the brilliant stun coming out from the Alchemist. Just absolutely melts 3 heroes. And that was a 360 damage unstable concoction paired with the 4 armor reduction from the acid spray that had gone down prior. Hoo-wee, that was a lot of damage. All 3 heroes, the Naga Siren, the Warlock, and the Lifestealer, all 3 are caught in the ult. The Rage had worn off, so this unstable concoction, well, it hits the Rage anyway. So, all in all, Propane are in a commanding position of this game. Without a doubt, absolutely in a commanding position. And we have to start waiting for Well Ward to get their ults up, but Propane might just start getting way too far ahead before the ults start coming out from Well Warded. And once we see the first ult out, if they're not able to pick up a few kills with it, we can pretty much call it game. But just like that, we see an initiation and on to Shadow Demon and Alchemist, but the brilliant stun again! Fiend taking out 2 heroes. Well, they all both stay alive, but stunning, hitting on 2 heroes, and no! The Warlock getting hit up by Demonic Purge on the Shadow Fiend is able to do enough damage. The Warlock does go down, but not before he's able to pick up the XP from the 2 kills, and that's going to be an aggression out on the bottom tower. Most certainly might turn into a tower in and of itself, but there are 2 heroes here waiting to defend it, and the Shockwave doing way too much damage, so the counter push from Propane is a little bit too much for Well Ward to handle, and now with the 3rd hero rotating in, they have to make the decision. Keep the pressure on, or go and defend the bottom. And the 4th hero rotating in, I think they're going to have to take a lead from this tower, and they might even lose their own tier 1 in the process. Lifestealer is going to find himself in the wrong neighborhood really soon as 4 heroes coming out, but with the track kill out, or with the track, out, Well Ward are going to see everything that goes on. And they see the 4 heroes committed to this push. And they know that they need to either get a perfect initiation, perfect defense off. Naga Siren's still not level 6. So we're not going to be able to see the brilliant initiation that could be. Meanwhile, in the top lane, it looks like Warlock doing great damage versus Sap, but in the Warlock, Sap's defense, he is taking tower damage. The Fatal Bond's doing a little bit of damage in its own respect, and Smarter going to be pushing out the mid lane. It's a 3v4 situation in this bottom lane. The first hero to get disrupted is a hero that is going to die. And it looks like Magnus gonna find 2 with that RP. The way Weave coming out and Wardmancer gonna take a little bit of a fall. One more shockwave is gonna mean the death of him. And here it is, gonna fly, gonna hit, killing spree on the Magnus. Meanwhile, the Shadow Wave is able to pick up the kill on the Bounty Hunter. They find him wall invisible, and that's gonna mean another kill. And 7-13 at 14 minutes. We take a look at the gold and XP, and sitting 4K in terms of gold, but only 2.5K in XP. And this is not something that is irreversible in any way, shape, or form for Well Warded, but it certainly means that they're going to be playing on the back foot this entire game, especially with a hero like Alchemist is going to be the butt of all that farm. And level 6. Coming out on the Warlock. He went into that off lane, found some levels, and now he's going to get caught out by the Magnus. Magnus doing a great job zoning him out. He knows what's coming. And he's going to back off. It looks like Naga Siren coming up, getting some aggression on the Weaver. The net, keeping him in one place. And Bounty Hunter getting the track off. Is there a time lapse? There's a time lapse out now, but a time lapse would mean another net, and most certainly a dead Weaver. The tower,
bottom
two
tower has
towers.
fallen.
Gonna take a fall in the bottom lane as Bounty Hunter.
Dire's
Looking
middle
for that
tower
Weaver.
is under
And
attack.
he really wants this kill. He's gonna go way under tower. The Weaver is gonna spot him out though. Ping's coming out. It looks like Propane gonna go for Roshan here. No, they're just going to the secret shop to pick up a few items. And now it's a 4-hero amalgamation in the middle lane as they're ready to push down the mid-tier 1 tower. Lifestealer teleporting to the mid lane. He knows he's got to get a bit of a defense off right here, right now. They have the rock. They have the song. They have the infest. The bounty hunter is out. The puck is available. And right now it's just the calm before the storm as well warded. Get prepared to take their final team fight. If they lose this team fight, they are in a very difficult position to return from. Magnus, though, had just picked up his invisibility rune, which is going to make it that much harder. Looks like Naga's getting in position. She wants that song up. She does pop it. The rock is getting ready. They are going to drop everything. TP support's coming in from everyone. Can they drop it? No, it's a little bit too early. The RP catching 3. Shallow grave out. The skewer doing great damage. It looks like the awaiting rift is a little bit too late. And Magnus gonna take a fall here, but at what cost? Lifestealer dead. It looks like Warlock dead. Naga Siren dead. Bounty Hunter alive under the aegis of invisibility. He wants that kill out on the Alchemist, but he's gonna turn it around, get a stun. Ultra kill. That's gonna be a rampage if he picks this one up. It is not a rampage. The range creep stealing the kill, but just like that, 4, 5 heroes dead. And Propane have just taken an insane lead over Well Warded, dropping to 5k and even more in this game 1 of a best of 2 series. Well Warded and a terrible position to play from. They can't have execution mistakes like that if they want to win this game. There's 100 seconds on the rock. That's more than enough time to push mid lane and to push into the rack. So, a very difficult, albeit impossible position to play from and well warded side. And the instant disruption now on Wax. The stun does fly. The dust is there. All 5 heroes. The demonic purge, the skewer finishing off the kill. Puck finding a dream coil a little bit too late. The puck in a very bad position. Not sure what she's planning on doing. The Alchemist, just too much HP, finds 2 with the stun. And Lifestealer trying to do what he can, but it's a 1-by-1. Taking a fall. There's only 1 point up in Feast, and this Alchemist is already back up to half health. Is going to be full in a couple of seconds. And this is just too much. They got a failed team fight, and now Well Warded are just constantly going in and taking bad fight after bad fight. I wouldn't be surprised if this is Rax. Weaver going on this Lifestealer. Weaver is almost a natural counter to Lifestealer until Lifestealer gets that Abyssal Blade. Or even any form of Basher, but that's a tier 2 tower going down. All outer towers are down on the side of Well Warded. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if Propane feel ballsy enough to take a Rax. Their RP is off cooldown. Magnus still about 1,000 gold away from his Blink Dagger. Weaver getting very close, in fact almost at his Lincoln Sphere, is about 1,200 gold away. So they're going to take a Roshan, and all of the items are going to start coming out on the side of Propane. Meanwhile, take a look at some of the items on Well Warded. And the Bounty Hunter has a Morgan Mask, but that's about it. Warlock getting really close to his mechanism, but doesn't have it, and we're going to see another initiation. This time the Naga Siren going in. Is the rock gonna drop at the right time? We see the initiation for the puck. The rock drops and it hits 4. They're all going in, but the RP counter initiating. That's 3 dead. 2 dead, sorry. 3 dead now. And it looks like the skewer pulling him right back into all the enemy heroes. Rainmaker is gonna have to back up. No heroes dead despite the perfect rock. And that's gonna mean Roshan. That was almost a perfect initiation by Well Warden. They weren't able to take the kills. They weren't able to get the follow-up damage. And what was missing there, what ultimately was missing there, was the infested Lifestealer in the puck. It just wasn't there. So the Lifestealer had to walk in, and by the time he got there, the stun had worn off from the ultimate, from the rock, from the demonic summoning, or chaotic offering. And just like that, all of Well Warded just absolutely melted. And that just goes to show you, you have to be careful of that RP. I mean, he had his Blink Dagger. I guess he had it before I even looked. But the Blink Dagger is out now, 2,300 gold to follow up. He could go for his next item right away, but we're taking a look at that. And we saw just an absolute perfect Naga Song catching out 4 of them. The Magnus is the only one that looked like it didn't catch the Magnus waiting in the wings, and we'll talk about that in a second, but 4-person Naga Song, the rock dropped, and they were all about half HP, but then just like that, the mechanism, the Shadow Wave, bringing them all back up to full. Then the RP, the Unstable Concoction, paired up with that armor reduction of the Acid Spray means just absolute death, destruction, and pain and suffering for Well Warden. And now Propane are gonna in a perfect position to take Rack. Fiend, dodging out the orb, and he's just going straight on it. We see the Riptide coming out from Nagasong. They're just trying to get a little bit of cheeky defense out, but it's not working. The stun hitting out on the Bounty Hunter. This would be absolutely huge if they were able to take their Aegis off the Alchemist, but he does have his no, there's a perfect Dream Coil catching 3, and it looks like Fiend just doesn't care. They're sitting in the Dream Coil, they're saying, come at me. And it's just not enough. It is absolutely not enough. The RP catching 3. Just look at that. Birkin picking up a triple kill, and that's the GG. Flying out from Well Warded. Well played, but all said and done, Well Warded just got in too big of a rut before they were able to get their team fight out and about. And we take a look at that team fight in the middle lane that they dropped, that the Warlock dropped the chaotic offering a little bit too early, and that evolved into the Golem doing absolutely no damage. I mean, to make the Warlock's ultimate truly effective in situations like that, you drop the Fatal Bonds off as soon as the Naga Song comes off, you hit the rock just after that. I mean, if you've got the Waiting Rift perfectly timed, you do not need to worry about the Magnus getting that RP off. And I mean, even with the Dream Coil, if he tries to blink in for that RP, he's going to get stunned immediately. So, great game played on the side of Propane. Unfortunately, Well Warded taking a loss. Now Propane's in a great position for this series. They need to win both to maintain the first position in their group stage. But after game 1, that's certainly a morale boost for Propane, while Well Warded are taking a big hit to their morale. So, guys, you've been listening to Chicago Ted. I'm going to be casting a whole nother series. Unfortunately, I will not take up game 2 of this series, but I'll be picking up a whole nother